All regions agree that the highest need for improvement is in this particular category around leading and managing skills. And furthermore, in both EMEA and also in the Americas, they rated this in your top 5 overall. Highly effective channel salespeople coach partners through the sales and planning process. So this is what the best CAMs do. And they coach them to do things like improve pipeline, demand generation and forecasting, coach them to sell more effectively, conduct an opportunity review, develop specializations and centers of excellence, structure the business to make more money out of that specific relationship with you, and leverage your vendor programs, tools and processes more effectively. Channel salespeople need to develop the skills required to also lead teams. They need to obviously be able to facilitate effective meetings and establish the right measures, being leading and lagging indicators. But they also need to develop, different leadership strategies for different kinds of partners. What you need to do for what we call a achiever partner, so this is someone who's self-sufficient, is a very different role for someone who's a developing, highly technical, but not necessarily highly sales competent partner. And so different management approaches are required. In some cases you'll need to lead, in other times you'll need to coach, maybe facilitate. And it's channel managers who can adapt their leadership style to these different situations are the ones who naturally have the greatest success. Leading others who don't work for you, so thus building on some of the influencing skills earlier, are identified as being critical because if you think about it, what you're asking a channel manager to do is to lead a virtual team, a team of people both inside of the channel partner and also inside of the vendor who don't work for you, but who you need their contribution to make that partnership a success. So let's do a live poll here again. So let me ask you, among those of you on the call, which single competency do you consider to be the most important for a channel manager? And you can only choose one. So is it the ability to execute on the strategy? So this is this whole concept of having the right partners in the right place, selling the right products, and having the right enablement activities in place. Is it the ability to understand the business models and how partners make money, the business acumen? Is it the influencing skills? So these are the channel sales skills to manage partners to drive change and investment. Or is it the ability to manage partners through the planning process? So this is one-to-one partnership and joint planning. Or finally, is it this leadership ability to coach and lead partners through the sales enablement and planning process? So let's see what results. Let's give you a moment to respond. Again, we're only getting about a third of people to respond. And what's clear, and this is consistent again with the data that came out of both Asia Pacific and also out of the EMEA region, is channel fundamentals is getting a very large percentage of the responses. So at this point in time, it's getting about 60% of the responses. And then we're getting an fairly even distribution across some of the others, with maybe some emphasis on some of the advanced skills, which again is fairly consistent with the mature market like North America. So let's just give it another moment to see if we're getting any responses. Okay, so we've got about a third of people that have responded. So what you see here is a little bit of an aggregation of the results. And what we've tried to do is try to identify the importance. So this is the importance of the skill or competency, not necessarily how well it's being performed, across all 3 regions. So the blue circle is the Americas, the red circle is EMEA, and the green circle is APJ. And not surprisingly, you see a significant overlap between the 3. So planning came through very strongly from an importance perspective, as you'll see in the middle there, 16 and 5, driving joint plans and identifying the elements of plans. Also, what came through strongly is its first concept of, the ability of a channel manager to properly articulate where channels fit credibly into their overall go-to-market was very important. The US, again, being very or America's being very action-focused on, you'll see on the top left-hand side there. And in the between EMEA and the US is selecting the right partners to complete the solution. So this is having clarity around things like roles and responsibilities and ensuring that not all products should go to all partners. And, is there a process by which we should appropriately select the appropriate products or specializations or solutions for the right partners? So that's the information that came through from an importance perspective. Let's now take a look at the cut of the data from an improvement ranking. So again, this is now looking at how well it's being performed, and those items that are being performed that are considered important come through strongly here. And again, planning ideally has not been considered to be done very well by a lot of companies, and so you see partner plans coming through strongly there again in the middle. But a new one appears here, and that's the ability to articulate key partners' business issues. And that's, again, fairly consistent. If you want to drive change in partners, one of the starting points is understand what's important to them. If you can't articulate it, if you can't, empathise with those issues, it's very difficult to develop an influencing strategy, which is really what you have directly above there in 22, which is also new to this list and also not being done as well as many companies would like, and that is coaching and leading partners. If you want to understand their key partner business issues, the next step is then now providing coaching and leadership around how to resolve some of those issues. Action and resource planning, again, through the top left, come through again very, very strongly. So let me just give you some overall regional observations. So this is particularly useful, I think, for those that are in a global role. All regions agree that getting close to partners is the highest need for improvement. All regions agree that effective, comprehensive partnership planning is most in need of improvement. And all regions also agree that channel managers need to develop a better understanding of partner business issues at all levels in the organisation. So that's across all the functional roles, whether it be PS or sales or the CFO or the CEO, the president of the company, and also the different levels. So what affects an executive may not necessarily be the things that affect somebody on the sales floor or an SE that's speccing in a product or a solution into their proposals. Because only once you understand these various stakeholders can you start to develop, as I said, an influencing, or can you influence change and investment. All respondents also agreed on the need for a continued focus on channel sales skills in all regions. However, there were regional differences which may reflect differences in business maturity, in culture, and in scale. The Americas and EMEA place a much higher value on some of the advanced channel manager skills. Skills like coaching, which came through in the previous slide, mentoring, and the ability to build trust, particularly between sales teams, are rated more highly than they were in Asia Pacific. Asia Pacific, on the other hand, had a higher overall focus on channel core fundamentals and partnership planning. Though again, channel core fundamentals was universally important across all regions. So my take on this is, I think that the Americas and the EMEA data is more reflective of a mature market, more reflective of North America, and more reflective of Western Europe. And I think the APJ data is greatly influenced by some of the large emerging markets in Asia Pacific like China and India, and therefore is probably more reflective of an emerging market. So those in Latin America, some of the APJ data may be more reflective of some of the issues and priorities that you face in your region.